Thank you, ma'am.
Uma Mataji has something to share that she noticed her husband and she says that he matches the first group.
Okay, very nice. Anybody else?
And somebody, a very senior person in the family, I think Dadi or, is saying that the second or the third, very angry sometimes, and also uh, third, aspect. So second and third for that senior person
Third
and
category. Third
hus-
category.
husband first group.
Husband for the first category.
Correct.
Very good. So at least somebody noticed. So anyways, all of you, we are going to learn more things about these, categories of people today. So make sure that because unless you start noticing, the learning will not happen. So Bhumika wants to say something.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So regarding the three so he's talking about her son. Talking about his son, saying that he doesn't sleep. He's always into games. And he does his japa beats at night. Doesn't sleep.
Hmm. Okay, good. So, yes, so good that somebody is noticing. And so we will discuss all these
So he's
things.
saying son, basically takes a bath, takes
Hmm.
his but doesn't, malab, it's difficult. Doesn't focus on things timely. More
Yeah,
into games and stuff like that.
right. Fine. So we'll be discussing all these things. Thank you, Bhumika, for sharing, and thank you, Uma, for sharing. And so let's begin. So Nandini wants to say something. Nandini Chakrabarti. Quickly, because then we'll get late for the class. Quickly, anything?
So the first one was focusing, first category is the people who are religious.
Yes,
Second group are
religious.
the
Yeah, yeah.
people who are angry. So is that related to jealousy or politics?
Yeah, little bit. Yes, definitely. All those qualities also come in.
Third is people who are angry, right?
So third is the people who are totally, what do you say? They are very lazy and they are into a lot of addictions. They are they're hopeless kind of people. Like you see drug addicts, or you see that people who are into alcohol, or they smoke a lot. So we will take up questions a little later. Let's not start off. You've got a hint of what kind of people. Arpit, I'll get back to you. I'll So we'll start with the class. So today we are going to discuss something very important, and it is called
Hey, Mataji, it's a little
three.
confusing. If you give examples, it will be helpful to understand.
Yes, yes. No, I was just typing and I was speaking actually. So this is our topic of today, three modes of material nature, also called three guna, like in the Hindi word, gun, like the character or the quality. So let's see the pictures and try to understand it. So I want you to have a look at this picture once again. This picture is divided into three parts. Okay, so there are three kind of people which is shown in one single picture. So there are people who are like very good and people who are in the middle category and people who are doing some very, very bad things. So the three modes that we are talking about is called goodness, passion, and ignorance. So carefully watch the picture and it will be easy to understand. Okay, so I hope you would have had a good look at the picture. So the picture says that there is one category of people. So there are two ladies standing and they're selling fruits, right? In the second picture, we see that there is a husband and wife or a couple sitting and they're having some alcohol and they're also eating some very, very spicy red color of food. And the third picture, there is a person who's selling some non-vegetarian item. So the material energy, like whichever you can see around us, like we are living here, around you, whatever you can see is material, right? And where Krishna lives, it's all spiritual. So we have been learning all these things. We understand by now. So this material, like this world, is made up of three guna or three basic qualities. And what are these qualities? Everything you see around you is made up of three things.
Mataji, material, what is material?
Material is anything which can be destroyed, which is perishable, which finishes, like our own body. Our own body is also material because at one time it dies, it finishes. You see your car, table, chair, buildings, everything around you is material. It finishes, it has an end. It is not permanent. Now, all these things, anything, the moment you say material, everything in the world has a certain quality. So these are the three qualities that we are talking about. So anything around you, even when I was asking you to do this homework, I was asking you observe three variety of people, right? So whether we talk about people or we talk about anything else in the world, it everything has three basic qualities, and that is goodness, passion, and ignorance. So is it clear? Now, according to Bhagavad Gita, our activity, like whatever we are doing, suppose uh, the time of getting up or the food that we are eating, everything has goodness, passion, or ignorance. There is nothing in the world which does not have these three qualities. And all this knowledge we can understand from Bhagavad Gita. So these three things, what happens? They affect our thinking, they affect our values. Values means that stealing is bad, right? So that thinking that stealing is bad is, how do you know stealing is bad? Because our parents have told us this is the kind of values, this is the kind of culture they have given us. Then judgment, like to decide whether this is good or this is bad. Or action, like when we are going to do something, when we are going to uh, buy some fruit from market or buy some non-vegetarian from market. So any action, when we go to school, when we go to college, we go to office, everything gets affected by these three things: goodness, passion, and ignorance. So is it clear or is it difficult? We will slowly understand with the help of examples, and as slowly we move on, we will slowly understand this. So these three modes, you would have seen that in this picture there are three women, right? And these three women have some ropes. Have you ever seen a puppet show?
Sorry, Mataji, Madan was saying something. So I said, Mataji is teaching. Should I stop? He's like, no, no, go.
No, 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 don't.
Carry on.
The flow gets disturbed. We'll wait. So these three women, if you see, they represent the guna, the three qualities, the three modes. Like how the puppeteer is there and he shows us the puppet show and he does it with the help of ropes. So similarly, these three modes are, we human beings, we are like puppets, and we are constantly controlled by these three modes. So based on our desires and our previous birth karma, we act in a particular way. So I will give you an example. So there is a couple, they're constantly fighting. So you would be wondering why, the husband will think why my wife is always, fighting with me, or the wife will think why my husband is always fighting with me. So because both of them have a lot of desires in their heart, lot of them have some previous karma, because of which they behave in a particular way. Right? So now let us start with our very first quality, which is goodness. Okay, so how Uma was saying that her husband is the first category. So here we have the person who is in this mode of goodness. So what are the qualities? How do you identify? So I told you to do your homework and told you to look around people who are kind and helpful. So there is a list of qualities. So here now let us see what are the qualities when person is in the mode of goodness. So such a person is pure. He is not having any cheating kind of a quality in him. He's very simple and straightforward. He doesn't do any sin. He's sinless. Such person is happy and satisfied with life. He's calm, peaceful, and very helpful. He knows the difference between what is right and what is wrong. So like how I was telling you that, you all know that stealing is bad. So you know the difference between good and bad. You will not steal. Why? Because you know stealing is bad, right? So a person who is in the mode of goodness knows the difference between good and bad. He knows he will not do anything bad because he has that knowledge. Now, the most important thing about good people is that he is fit to understand all the Vedic knowledge because clean from inside and outside, and he can differentiate between good and bad. So if he tries, if he wants to learn Vedic knowledge, if he wants to know about Krishna, he is the right candidate because he's pure, he's calm, he's peaceful, helpful. He has all the good qualities where he can advance in his spiritual life. So is the first category clear? Okay. So we'll move on to the second person. So here is the second person who is in the mode of passion. So these people are full of desires. They have endless desires. I want car, I want money, I have a house, but I want another house. I want a farmhouse. I want a huge bank balance. I want to travel to so many places. They are never satisfied in life. And in order to get those things, they keep pushing themselves more and more to achieve more and more. Like somebody was talking about Nandini, I think. She was talking about office politics. So when we talk about office politics, why do people do office politics? Because they have those aspirations, they have those big dreams. There's nothing wrong in having big dreams, but then, to do politics in order to achieve certain things is not good, right? So they will, go to any length to achieve what they desire, and they're always focused on profit. What is my profit? What will I get if I do this thing? If I'm doing this business, or if I'm in even in relationships, they will be wanting what is my profit. Their focus is all the time on what am I going to win in this. They can work 24 hours a day if they want, because they are so passionate. So now let us look at the third category. I hope it is understood. Are you able to understand this second category? Okay. So this is the third category where people are in the mode of ignorance. Ignorance means there is totally darkness in their life. There is no light. Because if there is light, there'll be knowledge in their life, right? Knowledge is connected to light. When there is light in your life means you have some knowledge. But their life is totally dark. Their life is totally ignorant because they are totally into darkness. And what are their qualities? They are lazy, they are mad, they are inactive, they are very selfish and self-centered. They are addicted to drugs or alcohol or cigarettes. I'm not sure how many of you are aware, but there are people who are into drugs. They would even steal in their own house. In order to get drugs, they will open the cupboards of, they will even steal the jewelry or take out money from the pocket of their father. So their only concern is their own body pleasure, because alcohol or drug is going to give them pleasure. They're going to enjoy taking it. So their only concern is how should I satisfy my body? So as I said in the beginning, that everything in this world, nothing in this world is exempted from these three modes. Everything. So now let's understand the three modes with respect to food that we eat. So the food that we eat also is in these three categories. So let us look at these three variety of foods. Have a look at the pictures. Then we'll come back and discuss it. I hope you had a good look at the pictures. So let's understand them. So let us first of all talk about mood of goodness. So the food that, which kind of food falls under this first category? So the first kind of foods such are juicy, which are very healthy and pleasing to the heart. Like you have a lot of fruits and vegetables and pulses and rice and all these things like ginger and all variety of fruits and nuts, milk, buttermilk, yogurt. So all these kind of food fall in the category of goodness because these food increases our life, it purifies us, gives strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. And in the second category of food, when we come to talk about passion, so here the food is that which is very hot, very spicy, like sour, bitter, and when you eat it, it creates a burning kind of sensation inside your stomach. You know, sometimes you eat very spicy food, you feel something is burning inside, or very hot. There are some people who are used to eating very, very hot food. Means the food should come in their plate and it should be steaming. It should be steaming hot. So such kind of food, spicy food, very, very sour or bitter, all these fall in the category of in the passion. So what happens to our body when we eat such kind of food? So when we eat such kind of food, it gives us pain, misery, and diseases. For example, if you're eating too much of spicy and burning kind of food, it lot of times gives rise to piles. It lot of time gives rise to blood in the stools. So such, I'm sure many of you would be aware that doctors always say that avoid very spicy food. So these kind of food disturbs our mental health as well as physical health. So let's look at the third category. In the third category is food which is cooked 3 hours before. Means if I want to eat now and if it is cooked 3 hours before, like if you cook it in the morning and you eat it in the evening or late lunch, then that food is not ready to be eaten. It should not be eaten. And onion, garlic, all non-vegetarian food, alcohol, everything comes in the category of the ignorance category. So when people eat such kind of food, they become lazy, they become lethargic, they become very, very depressed all the time. They are not active, they are sad, they are dull. So eating this kind of food aggravates, it increases our ignorance. So now, we have already seen food variety. Now let us see that there are many other things around us which are also affected by these three modes. So these are examples so that you can understand these modes in a better way and you can observe life around you and see that how different things are affected by these modes. So there's no photographs, just a table. I'll read it out. So here we have activities. For example, books. So book, what kind of book will a person in mode of goodness like? Somebody's biography, like Mahatma Gandhi is there. Mahatma Gandhi is what kind of life he led, or Vivekanand was there. What kind of life he had, or motivational, something which is going to inspire you. So people in the mode of goodness like to read such kind of books. And people in mode of passion, they would like to read murder mysteries, fiction, those kind of things, which has a lot of suspense in it. And the third category of people would watch all those kind of things on their computer, which should not be watched by a decent, normal person. Like we talk about pornography, all those objectionable things, which has illicit, which shows illicit sex, or which shows a lot of violence. So such kind of things, these third category of people likes to read. Then work. In the mode of goodness, people, are people work very nicely. They become teachers. So teacher is one kind of a profession which is very, very easily related to mode of goodness. And when somebody is passion, his work would be related to money. He would go anywhere, he'll do any kind of work where money is involved. And the third category, as we all know, he will do any kind of work where he can get alcohol or drugs. Like somebody would love to work in a place which caters, which like a restaurant, which sells alcohol. Then place. The first category of people likes to visit park in the morning or some kind of a forest, whereas the second person likes city life, crazy city life, lot of traffic and lot of sound and high volume music. Whereas the third category person likes all nightclubs and pubs, wherever liquor is served, where is a lot of dance and sex is happening. Those kind of things are enjoyed by the third category. Now, very, very important point, the time of the day. Time of the day is also under the control of these three modes. Morning 4 o'clock to 12 o'clock, it is in the mode of goodness. That is why we always say, get up in the morning, do your japa, do your puja, go for a morning walk. Why? Because this time is under the control of goodness. Then 12 o'clock to 8 at night is under the control of passion. So you will see that how people who are workaholics, who wants to work all the time, they are very, very active during this period. And the last category is very active when from 8 at night till 4 in the morning. They don't sleep. They'll be partying somewhere or they'll be drinking somewhere. They'll be involved in all kind of those activities. When the whole world is sleeping, at that time, these people will be most active. So that is why the last mode is controlled controlled at what time? From 8 o'clock at night to 4 in the morning. Whereas the mode of goodness person, he gets up, his day starts 4 in the morning. And when the whole world is woken up, trying to be fit and religious and to remember God, the last category person is sleeping at that time. So these are our three category of people, and so we will finish our class now. We will have to take a break because you'll not be able to understand after this. There are a lot of things to understand in this three modes, which we will be covering in the next class, right? So now we can give few minutes of break to Saurabh, and then we'll come up with some question answers. You can ask your questions and doubts. But I would sincerely request you to please observe. Now you have seen that how to observe people, how to observe these three variety of people around you. You also now start noticing, you open your fridge and you notice what kind of food is there in your fridge. What kind of food people are eating outside. When you go for a morning walk, how many people are there in that morning walk? So all those things that we have learned, you start observing these things in around you before we meet for the next class. Because if you don't observe, then learning will not happen so fast. Yes, Saurabh is back. So we can begin our questions.
So, Hare Krishna Mataji. So, regarding addiction, I wanted to ask addictions of various kinds, right? Sex addiction, phone addiction, alcohol or cigarette addiction. What are the ways to stop or get out of this process of being addicted? How can you stop it, or how can you, how can you disconnect?
See, practically speaking, yes, practically speaking, we need to take assistance when it comes to drug addiction, etc. There are a lot of helpline agencies which are there to help you. But of course, being like how we will be progressing slowly in this on this topic when we discuss in our next class how to get out of these addictions. Of course, Krishna consciousness is there, and a person who is chanting, who is taking constantly remembering the Lord, will never get into addictions. That is a guarantee. But of course, one who is already into addictions, it is very difficult. You can't just you cannot, because he cannot understand who God is. He is in such a sleeping situation that for him to understand about God is very difficult. It's next to impossible. So for such a person, the family and friends have to help him and see that he should come out of addiction, and then probably slowly he can be moved into Krishna consciousness. So it's a very difficult and challenging situation, people who get into addictions. So we will discuss when in the next class about how to get out of these modes. And
Hare Krishna Mataji, today's session was quite insightful. So I would say, according to my observation, my husband falls in both categories. While I would say that I am someone, I'm kind, I'm helpful, but my husband, he works at the bank, and sometimes it happens that, if uh, he's insulted or due to work pressure and stuff like that, he does have meltdowns or he gets angry sometimes, but very different. Oh, and so I'm a widow, Mataji. My husband has passed away. And with that, in my life, there is a lot of sadness. There is no, I sometimes feel that I'm like a person in the third category. I'm home alone. I'm a single woman. A lot of my time just goes into just trying to live. So is there any advice you have, Mataji, for this situation?
so for your first concern about that about your husband you were talking about, so we will be discussing this also in our next class, that how nobody is in a pure mode. So like when we talk about goodness, passion, or ignorance, we are even in one single day, we can be in both the modes. We can be in a mode of goodness. Like just now, I've come back to from the temple and given a lot of charity. But when I come home and I see that the house is not clean, I start shouting. I start fighting with my husband. I start fighting with my maid. So all of us, not just me, everybody is always never in one single mode. We are always in two or three modes all the time. So whatever you are explaining about your husband, it is quite, yes, he might be the good person, but when he has office pressure, he definitely starts getting angry. So that is very natural because we are all the time influenced by maybe sometimes two or maybe all the three modes altogether. Now coming back to your loneliness. So Uh, Very sorry to hear about your husband. But yes, one thing is there that we are living in a temporary world. So we all have to go one day or the other. Somebody goes late in life, somebody goes away very early in life. So we have no control over this. But the only control we have is in remembering Krishna, because we have to constantly chant. Because now, if you are alone at home, then you should completely take shelter of Krishna and always remember him, because he is there. It's a matter of just calling him. So if you have any temple close by, or if you have any devotees, you can be busy with them, busy in some service, or if you have some temple, you can visit them, or you can preach, you can inspire other people to chant, you can inspire people to attend these classes. So instead of feeling sad and alone at home and feeling very dull and like a third category, you should now, because you've been attending classes, you should now inspire other people to take up Krishna consciousness and inspire them to chant Krishna's name, because that is the only solution. You should be strong. You should not feel lonely, or we all are there. And you're not the only one who could be suffering. So many of us have so many kind of problems here. So this thing probably we can discuss in detail some more. And do not feel lonely. We're all there for you.
Yes, Mataji, these Zoom classes make me really happy. This is a good place. I try to communicate, and
Thank you.
The kind of stress or the kind of bad feelings which I have when I come into Zoom, these things automatically go away.
Very nice. Thank you. So continue coming. Don't leave the classes and keep chanting. God will give you a lot of strength.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So the elder person in my family, Mataji. Sorry, she's talking. So she had a different science. I just clarified. She's talking about a sasu, her
Okay, mother-in-law.
mother-in-law. So she's a very yeah. She wakes up at 4 in the morning. Is She does meditation, and she is very. She never eats outside. She fasts. She cooks her own food. But why is she angry? Even though she is, she follows these things. She falls in the category. She does all those activities, but still that anger is there. Can you please share, Mataji, why is it like that?
So anger is a very difficult emotion to control. It is very difficult. And there can be many reasons for her anger. It could be some kind of dissatisfaction in life also, which gives rise to anger. Maybe she has some insecurity in life. Maybe she feels little lonely in life, and that loneliness, or maybe some kind of emotion which comes out in the form of anger. So although she is in the mode of goodness, but then, as I said, a person can be parallelly be in two or three modes. He can be in the mode of goodness, and he can also be in the mode of passion. And when it comes to anger, there can be a lot of reasons. And sometimes people do these things, do a lot of religious things, but the ultimate object of being religious, they do not understand. So unless you have control over your own emotions, and control comes only when you do chanting, when you start actually without any personal benefit, without any personal motive, without any thinking of any personal gain, when you chant, then you become purified from inside. But if you have some selfish reasons when you are chanting, then that purity doesn't come. So we think that we have been chanting for many years, but there's no use. Why? Because our chanting has some selfish motive behind. So our chanting should not have any other desire except pleasing Krishna. I am chanting because I want to please Krishna. I want to increase my love for Krishna. If that is the motive, then you will immediately become purified. Your anger or any other bad emotion will go away. So if she gets angry, you maintain your calm, you don't lose your anger. Just let it pass.
Yeah, yeah, Mataji. I don't respond. I am a calm person only. I just wanted to share here. That's all. I understand, Mataji. I let her be.
Yes, thank you. Hare Krishna. You can
I just asked her
take
if there's
Bhumika
more
meanwhile.
light. Yeah, yeah, a little more light. Now see clearly. So Mataji, I think my anger is justified. I feel angry only when something right happens. Something right. I mean, something which deserves anger. But my family, my friends, I have been distanced by them. They don't like me because of this. But I don't feign anger. It is what I feel is that those things, I feel angry when it's justified. Something wrong happens. But yeah.
See, that is your perspective. We all think that we are right. Now, who thinks that we are wrong? None of us think we are wrong. We think we are always right. See, the point is that anger in any way is not correct. And when we are uh, at that time, if we realize that what is the reason for my anger? So if you try to tackle that reason, then anger will not come. So you say that you get angry when something justified, but then who are you to justify? You are nobody to justify. How can you decide what is right and what is wrong? So when people distance from you, it is because they do not like. None of us like when somebody gets angry, and slowly people distance away from such people. So my suggestion is that you should chant, and that slowly that anger will go away. And slowly all those people who have distanced from you, they will be surprised to see this change in you. So we'll take a good question answer session once our entire session is over. Once our next class is over, after that, we'll have one proper question answer session on this three modes. So because I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions you will be having. So all the questions will get answered after the next class. We'll have a special session on question answers only.
Thank you, Mataji. Today I understood the session. So, my son, he reads the Bhagavad Gita, he sees the videos, Sunday he even goes to temple. But one thing is very, very late riser. One thing is that he's plays a lot of games. He's on the internet for a very long time. That is why he doesn't sleep. So in the morning, he wakes up very late. He does his japa at night. I ensure that, no onions, no garlic. We take care of all of that. And he is good in all of those things. One thing is that his sleep is very late. So morning he wakes up late. So night he does his japa. And it has been very difficult for me. I have not been able to get through to him. Sometimes 12 or 13. He does his japa at 12 or 11 o'clock. So I tell him that, no, this is not the right time. This is not the right time. And I tell him to wake up.
You are not the only one suffering in this. You ask all the mothers, they are suffering from the same problem of children watching phone late night. So this, making them get away from this habit of watching phone is difficult, and it is a problem of all the mothers, including me. Even I have the same issues even at my place. So I would suggest that these things have to be handled very, very softly. You don't lose your temper, because see, the good thing is that at least he's doing his japa, right? And he's going as per the rules that you are giving him. He's not eating onions and garlic also. So he's a good child. So I think you should, instead of scolding, you should uh, encourage him at times. You should give him some. You should tell him that you're a good child. You're a good son. And when you encourage him in that way, you'll see that slowly he will leave this late sleeping also. So don't scold him for that, because nowadays the whole world is functioning like that with mobiles and everything, gaming. But then instead of scolding, if you just support him and be encouraging, look at the positive sides that he is doing, look at the fact that he is chanting and he is avoiding onion garlic. If you encourage him, then probably these bad things also he will eventually leave. So thank you so much for the questions. And it's already 5:10, and we will meet next week. You tell Madan Prabhu, though, please, that we'll take up his question next week. Madan Prabhu, uh, it's already 5:10. So probably the next class that we'll, next class, we'll complete our session. And after that, we'll have a proper 1 hour of question hour session. And so please don't miss the class, and do watch the recording. We'll send the recording next tomorrow. Please watch the recording, and next class, don't say that, we don't remember what you taught in the last class. So please remember whatever I've taught. The PPT will come after some time. So please do watch the recording once it is in the group. What is Sudarshan Prabhu saying so desperately?
Sorry, Mataji, I really don't have time.
Yeah, I understand. I'll try to call him. Just tell him I'll try to call him. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, sir.